Welcome back to Of Two Mindsets. I am Dee Hill.
And I'm RJ.
And we are in the house, quite literally. Well, this is the studio. At
Right.
least that's what it appears to be from your end. How's your weekend going, bro?
It's going good. Got off to a late start. I had some extra rest, which was good. I needed that. It was a busy week this week.
Nobody knew you were late. You didn't have to say anything.
My bad. I felt like I was late because I had to get over the show
So
this
good,
morning.
man. Yeah. We all have our late days, and it's still the party. The show must go on.
Yes.
And here we are, the show going on. It's been a crazy week for me, but all is well. And here we
What's so
are.
crazy? What happened?
Has some stuff that I'll talk about next week on our show about men's health.
All right. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Exactly, I know, right?
All right.
I won't give any spoilers right now. Just
All
make
right.
sure you tune in next week and we'll talk about that. So, today we decided we're going to talk a little bit about racism. And, we are seeing a lot of claims of people being called racism in the news nowadays, people who are important in politics, and it's a really big deal. Or is it?
I think it is a big deal. Well, I mean, it's part of the fabric of this nation. As many people say, slavery was America's first sin. I don't know if the Indians or the Native Americans would agree with that because they were here prior to the slaves. But
So they would say that genocide is America's first sin.
right, and then that goes hand in hand with racism. It eliminated a race, of people.
I can't tell you if I've ever come across a person who called themselves Native American, personally.
Right, because why would you call yourself something that?
Well, my point is that there's so few.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I have never met a person who told me that they were Native American.
Okay,
Me
well,
personally.
Well, I have. I met several. I've gone to school with several of them. Up in Connecticut. Connecticut is actually I guess a Native American name.
I see.
Or I don't know if I can like that word, but yeah, it's an Native American Indian name.
Well, it's definitely not Indian.
So, I mean,
Indian is definitely a.
There's a large I won't say large, but there's a good population of Native Americans up there.
Yeah.
One of the most famous casinos is up there, the Massapequa.
Okay.
You've heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's up there. And they're a Native American tribe, so.
And I took my first trip to Connecticut.
That's right.
2
That's
months
right.
ago.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
Yeah.
Went to the mountain and climbed the mountain and everything.
Okay.
And enjoyed some city life as well. So, what is racism to you? We hear a lot of stuff. I hear people giving racism a new definition from what I understood it to be when I was growing up. And that's one of the things we wanted to talk about because it makes a big difference. If you call somebody a racist, how do you qualify that? So what is your definition
I think
of racism?
I think we use that term racism so often it's kind of losing its punch because to me, calling someone a name is not being racist. Like if a white person calls me an N-word, that doesn't necessarily make him a racist. I mean, the word itself, I can go on there because it doesn't make them, in my opinion, a racist.
So does it matter how they're saying it or when
No.
it is? Okay.
No.
So they could call you what's up N-word even if it's like
No, I'm not.
derogatory.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that they can do it to me. I'm saying by them saying it. You think about like that's a good example. Like a kid rapping along to Tupac.
Okay. Yeah.
Saying the N-word. Is he racist?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
So words you can't have it both ways. You can't have it because he called you the N-word. He's a racist for using that word, but somebody else rapping along with it, you don't consider them a racist?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Well, me personally, no.
Right.
But that's an example. But what's your definition? Like if one of if a little person came up to you and asked you what is racism, what would you tell them?
When it comes to arrest a black man, they need 30 cops or more. Well, now that's racist.
Well,
You know
but how is that racist exactly? Because some of those cops are probably going to be black also. And is racism? Can you be racist against your own race?
Well, Yeah, I mean, you can commit genocide against your own race. I mean, you can exterminate your own race. It's having the authority to exert. You know what I'm saying? Like you're over another race. You know, you're
Okay. So, and that's what I wanted to sort of talk about, because that is not the definition of racism that I grew up with, so to say. For me, it was very simple. Racism was simply if you hate somebody or discriminate against them because of their race.
right.
That's racism.
Right,
Which is a little bit different from the definition that I hear a lot of people giving now, and it's that definition you just gave, the ability to exert authority.
Right. If you're denying somebody good services, if you're doing something like that, that's you're being racist towards them. That's
Absolutely.
if you hate somebody, I mean that's bigotry. I think that's a little different.
Well, it's hate because of their race or because of their skin color. That's racism in my eyes. But this new definition, I'm not necessarily saying that it's a bad definition or that it's wrong, but I think that it's one of the things I talk about a lot is globalism, and this thing that, or this definition that you're pointing towards,
Right.
is more of a United States, and not just the United States, but the United States in particular, centered definition.
You think so?
So, can a black person not be racist? I hear a lot of black people saying no, but I say absolutely.
Oh yeah, I agree. Black people can be racist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that thing about power and authority is put into the definition. But you just said a black person can be racist because there are black people who hate Chinese people.
Mm-hmm.
There are black people who hate Mexicans,
Right.
which is a nationality, not a race. But that is what I view as racism.
So
When
just
you hate a person because of their racial makeup, and that's not the totality of it. So if we get away from that centralized, that United States centralized view of it, I think racism takes on a different characteristics, definition, basically. What do you think of that?
I'm not sure, man. Like you said, if they hate, I don't. I guess I'm not equating that hate with racism. I think
Okay.
racism is more of an act. You know what I'm saying? Hating is an act, but I'm saying
Right.
like a more pronounced act. You know,
Explain. What do you mean by more?
like I said, denying them good services, denying someone a home, denying someone a job because of their race.
Okay.
That to me is racism.
So, but if that's the case,
Profiling, you know what I'm saying? Profiling, arresting someone because of their race. That's racism. Because I hate you because you're black or white. That's just stupid. I don't know if it's racism. It's just dumb.
okay, so that's just hate in your book,
Right.
But let's say Juan is of Mexican descent,
Okay.
and
But the thing I'm trying to get at is like, if we're gonna go that route, then everybody, like we said before, then everyone is racist.
everyone can be a racist.
But then
that's
everyone
my
is.
point.
Everyone has their own bigoted opinions. Like, you know what I'm saying? When people have said think about church. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if you go to church or not, but if you did,
Right.
well, 9 times out of 10, the people in your church are all gonna be black.
That's not racism.
Why
That's
isn't
just,
it?
That's just because most of the people
Because
in
you
the neighborhood.
No, not
No,
all the time.
I agree. That's not right. I agree, but it's most likely because that is. Black people go to black churches.
But that's I don't see your.
That's not necessarily racism.
I don't see your problem with having a preference.
Yeah, but a preference is different from hating someone because they're. And I'm speaking particularly of hate.
Okay.
Hatred, in my opinion, and I know there are people who disagree with me, but that's what racism is. Yes, there is institutionalized racism, which is what you're referring to, as far as like these government policies, like we used to have Jim Crow laws and things of that sort. Definitely racist policy, and But that's one aspect of it. You can also hate your neighbor next door because he's white, and to me, that's racism. It's okay if you disagree. That's what
I disagree on that.
So what would you call that? Is that simply prejudice?
Prejudice, yes. Prejudice. Yeah, I'm prejudiced. I'm prejudging you because you're white. I don't like you.
What if after you get to know them, you still don't like them simply because they're white? Is that not racism? It's no longer prejudice, right? What do you guys think? Let us know.
Wow, that's a good one. So yeah. So you're saying I got to know him. I kind of like him, but I can't really like him because he's white.
Exactly. Not that you personally are that way.
Yeah.
So let us know.
I don't know how you put that in there. You kind of insinuated something that wasn't good.
I told you this would not be easy, and I'm not going to make it easy.
Woo!
So what's your definition of racism? Put your comments in the comment section and let us know. So, does that change your definition of racism, or are you sticking with it?
I'm sticking with it.
I'm
of this mindset, and you're of your mindset. I'm sticking with my right mindset.
Well, this is what the Oxford Dictionary says. It says racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior.
I like that word antagonism. So going back to the N-word usage.
Yeah.
Okay, so and like I said, if you're just using that word, say, call someone the N-word, I don't necessarily think that's racism. But if you're belligerent in it and just like, there's a crowd around it, it's kind of like really hyped up, then that's more antagonistic, then it becomes racist. Where it can almost lead to violence, you know what I'm saying, in that respect.
Yeah, I understand. And the other definition that it gives, let me just pull that up here. It says the belief that all members of each race possess characteristics or abilities specific.
That's more or less
race.
Prejudice, I would say, than race. But they call it, is that Webster? Who is that?
That's Oxford Dictionary.
Gary Coleman. Which one?
Oh, Webster, I got it. I'm a little slow.
Oh, there you go. Boom, boom.
Yeah. So, okay, so we have a little bit of a disagreement on the definition of racism, but we can agree that there's more than one definition.
Right.
So, have you personally experienced or what you perceive to be racism?
I guess, I'll give my example. Since we're in this fine city of Marietta, I'm sure everyone's seen that video of the man. Have you seen the video of the couple with the iHop here in Marietta?
I don't recall. How long ago was this?
Just last week.
Okay.
And something happened, and I'm not sure if they didn't have bacon. I think it was something about bacon. And his brother, they didn't have bacon, and they got upset about it. Okay. And I guess the staff was acting rude. I might be getting it wrong, but I think I got it right. Okay. So the staff was acting rude, and so the sister asked for the manager, and then I guess the manager told them to get out. People got upset, so they're on their way out of the door. Then I guess someone in the staff calls the police. Okay. So the police come and they prevent the couple from leaving the restaurant. So I think it was like 3 cops initially. So it escalates. Then there's about 6 or 7 cops, and so they're surrounding the brother, and the brother's talking to the police. Of course their voices are raised or whatever. Yeah. Next thing you know, the brother turns around, and the cop grabs him, throws him against the wall. And then it's on then, right. So they grab, but he didn't do anything.
Bacon.
Over some bacon.
Right.
Because
I love bacon.
Because iHop didn't have bacon.
I love bacon. So big things can happen because of bacon.
The story is they throw him on the ground, and then you see, and it's all on videotape. Yeah. I mean, everything's on tape, but it doesn't matter. They have no fear over the videotape. So they
have no what?
No fear.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether it's on tape or not. Because you can hear one lady saying, she's screaming, she's like, "Yeah, I'm taping you." And they're like, okay, so what? So one of the cops begins to punch the dude on the ground in his head.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Because it's absurd.
It is absurd.
That's why.
Yeah.
So eventually they get him up. They drag him out. They struggle with him because he's a black man. They need 10 cops, 30 cops or more. That's what I said. So they finally get him up, get him out.
If it was a white dude, that would not have happened. Is what you're saying?
Not necessarily. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying that every interaction with a black person has the potential to lead to that.
I agree.
Every single interaction. You know, whether you're jaywalking across the street, we're just.
There are examples of that.
It's just a difference of how our interactions are.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it doesn't matter whether it's a black cop or a white cop. It's just police in general, and it goes back to and this is a thought I've been thinking of. You know, when you're a kid, you know, like when you're a little kid, I don't know if they do this anymore, but when they ask you, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, the common answers are like a doctor, lawyer, or a police officer, sometimes fireman.
True.
What is the difference between those? They all deal with the public, right?
Yes.
What do you mean, like yes?
No, I had
do
to
they
think
not all
about
deal with the public?
Yes, they do. They do.
all?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the major difference between those jobs? Just off the top of your head, what do you think? I mean, they all deal extensively with the public. A doctor does every day. He has to come in. A lawyer, no, you have to pay them a little bit more, but they represent the people.
Yes.
The police protect people. So one is healing people, one looks out for the people, the other one protects the people.
Okay.
The difference is in the training.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, to
right,
be a cop, you need a GED, and you could be a police officer.
Yeah.
Every other one of those, you have to have at least 6 years of training, 6 years of additional schooling.
Not the firework.
Not the fire. Well, I'm not including the fire because there's
just those three.
Just those three.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be a cop, you just need a GED. So, in my opinion, they need additional training. That is the problem with the policing right now.
Yeah.
I think every police officer should have a social science degree in order to be a cop. Whether it's
Something
criminology,
similar.
remember sociology, something that helps prepare them for that position.
I know a lot of police precincts are now pushing the training of whatever it is, diversity training.
Yeah, that's not enough, man.
I agree.
That's baloney. That's poop.
It's something, is it not?
It's something. I looked on just researching for this. I looked on Waco, Texas, their website to see what their criteria was. And like I said, it was a GED or 15 hours. GED and 15 hours of additional education, like after GED.
I got
so the GPA was a 2.0. So we're looking for people that flunked out of school to come protect us. Is that what we want? I don't think so.
That's not what I want.
No.
And it's definitely different from city to city, county
True.
to county, but it's something to worry about because. But then you're sort of insinuating that education makes a person less biased.
No. I'm not saying that. I think I'm not less biased because if you have your biases, you have your biases.
Right. So what does it matter? Because the point I'm making, I think we're making the point sort of that their prejudice or bias against black people is the problem. So where does education fit into correcting that? If you agree that that's the problem we're talking about.
Well, I think it'll prepare them more for their position. Maybe just that little extra schooling, or maybe it'll weed out the ones that shouldn't be police officers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It'll do that.
I got you. Yeah.
For real.
I see. So
it's too easy.
Yeah. When I first went to college, we had dorm rooms, and it was like a suite. Myself and my roommate in one room, and we shared a bathroom with two other guys. We were both black, they were both white. One day, I heard them doing this little thing where one of them said, "What are you, a loser or an N-word?" He didn't say N-word. And the other guy quickly said, "I'm a loser, of course." Insinuating that it's better to be a loser than a black person. I assume that the N-word referred to black people. So that stuff, that was years and years ago, you know.
But they said it loud enough. They said it loud enough so you guys can hear it.
Absolutely. And then the guy said, "Be quiet, they're over there." And the other guy,
they were really being real funny.
And the other guy said, "I don't care," you know. So we were all like 19 or 20, I guess, at the time, and that just stuck with me. One of the few things that did stick with me in college. Was that racism?
No.
Why not?
Again, it's just words. I mean, they're being idiots. They were idiots.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, because who knows if they really believe what they were saying? To be honest. You know what I'm saying? They're just trying to get a rise out of you. You know, when you're young like that. I mean, not saying that it's a young thing, but because you can be old and be stupid too.
Absolutely.
But I won't necessarily say that's racism. That is, again, to me, that's just being a bigot, being prejudiced. You know.
You say bigot is bigotry not? I mean, I know bigotry is not necessarily racism, but why is that? I don't know. So, is it an okay thing?
No.
Should it be forgiven because it was something they said as youngsters or late teenagers?
Well, anything can be forgiven. You know.
Yeah.
But again, if that's, put it this way, like, you know, you've seen a lot of, like we were talking about initially, where people get fired for their past, you know, transgressions, for saying stuff. I don't necessarily think that should be so. I don't think that should be the case.
Yeah, what's her name? Paula, the cook.
Paula what's her name? I was gonna say Paula Abdul. Paula Dean.
Paula Dean.
Oh man,
that was, from what I understand, what they accused her of was something from way back in the past.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't agree with that.
I mean, I've said some crazy stuff in my past. You know,
stuff.
So
Exactly.
So what? I mean,
so things of the past should be forgiven.
Certainly.
Yeah.
But we profess to be a Christian nation, but don't ascribe to what Jesus Christ.
Forgiveness.
Exactly. It's crazy.
Right. I got you.
You know.
So did you have any other experiences of racism?
Well, yeah, I never even presented my. I never got to it, but I'm saying because I got sidetracked because Marietta.
Right.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good.
But since we're here in Marietta, and I had an experience similar to that, brother, up in the iHop.
Okay.
When I moved down here back in like 90, 98 or so around that time, living with my cousin, and we just happened to be strolling in our Marietta complex, in our apartment complex.
Right.
And a police officer comes up. He was like, we got reports of a female screaming in the vicinity.
Yeah.
And I was like, we ain't heard nothing. So, you know, I was thinking, okay, fine. And so he proceeds. He's like, do you mind if I search you? And so I was like, yeah, I do mind if you search me. I said, there's no cause for you to search me.
Right.
You asked us, was there a woman screaming? You know, did we hear a woman screaming?
Yeah.
I told you we didn't. So why do you need to search me? And so he said, okay, you're being a smart ass. So he grabs me. Next thing you know, there's another cop car comes up.
Right.
He throws me on the cop car, arrests me, takes me to Marietta City Jail. And so then, when, you know, I finally get my court date, you know, I tell the judge what happened. He dismisses it. It's like the cop never showed up.
Okay.
So of course, you know, they right off, you know, dismissed all the charges. But it's like, it's unbelievable.
I agree. Yeah.
Just
What was the cop, white or black?
Oh,
or
they were white.
Okay.
You know. But just I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. Like, you
Was
just.
that not just a case of you being in the wrong place at the wrong time?
I was in the right place. I was in front of my apartment. I don't know how more right can you get to that.
I agree.
I mean, if he looked at my ID, he could see where I lived at.
Hey. So,
but he just felt like I was disrespecting him by not, you know, just doing whatever he said. Like he's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like he's my master or my God or something. No, you're just a man just like
You're
me.
an overseer.
Exactly.
Right.
Get out of here with that.
So let us know, have you guys had any experiences with racism, and was it really racism? I mean, do we have an overblown idea of what racism is, and a lot of what we experience is just people acting in a way that they shouldn't, even though, you know, it might be a person of a different race. Maybe it's not racist.
Right, but, like you said, brother, I think we're kind of just blowing this up so much, like so everything is racism, and I know. I just hate, you know, saying, I know, like, you know, so people say, like, no, if you're a Trump supporter, that makes you a racist. That's like what CNN is saying now. So if you follow Trump, if you vote for Trump, that makes you a racist because he's apparently a racist because of the stuff that he says.
Is he a racist?
Well, I'm now thinking about, you know, you got me thinking about the immigration laws.
Okay.
What he did last week by raiding that factory in Mississippi.
Yeah.
it kind of borders on racism. I won't say it borders. Yeah, it's racism.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's really got an agenda against Latinos for some reason.
Well,
That they're taking Americans' jobs. But when I'm sure that they're not going to be out there plucking chicken feathers or picking strawberries and watermelons. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants those jobs.
well, that's interesting. I was listening to a show yesterday, a radio show on Sirius XM, and there was a guy that called in, and he was talking about. I think he was in construction, and he was saying that there are a lot of people coming from south of the border who are coming into that industry, and they're working for a lot less than people who are either in unions or you know, American construction workers, and thus they are taking away some of the jobs in that area. I forgot where he was exactly.
But D, at the end of the day, who was hiring them? Who
I
do
know,
they work for?
I totally agree.
They are mad at the wrong people.
Those people should be prosecuted.
Right.
Absolutely.
When they raided that factory in Mississippi, they arrested all the workers.
Right.
Are you telling me that the management didn't know that they hired all these
Management
illegals?
should be prosecuted also.
They should be prosecuted as well.
Even
Give
more
me-
heavily.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
They should be more severely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let their kids cry. Where's Daddy? Let them cry about that. That
I
was sickening,
agree.
man.
I totally agree. Any other experiences?
Not that I want to discuss today.
Not today.
We'll save that for another matter.
Is racism, giving what we've talked about and its definitions as your own definition, is racism ever justified?
See now,
It's okay,
I'm
brother.
gonna say.
Spit it out.
Well, it's got me thinking. But you remember how it felt, you know, around 9/11. You know how, like wherever you went, if you saw, you know, a Middle Eastern person, it was like, you know, you got them on blast. You know, like you're spotlighting. Like, okay, I see you. You're on the plane. Like, okay, there they are. We were all banding together then. You know, was that justified? I don't know. I'm gonna honestly say I don't know. I can't say yes on that.
I flew up. I was in California. I was getting had just arrived at an airport. This was shortly after 9/11, and I think it was Bakersfield Airport. And this white guy came out, and he said something about towel heads, and he was talking to me, you know, looking for agreement.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. It was like, what are you talking about? Why would I agree with what you're saying there? But he was looking for that
Confirmation.
bond,
Yeah.
bond, that confirmation that it's okay for us now
Oh yeah.
to discriminate or to.
Yeah, we were all in the same gang back then.
Yeah.
After 9/11.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We were together.
Right. But that's a tough one. I'm going to say no.
I'm saying no.
Racism is never justified.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if you're TSA and all of those guys who are looking out for the Americans' safety, you know, they're profiling, obviously.
Right. So, I mean, there is some benefits, I guess, to profile as far as, I mean,
I hear
that's
that
the word, I guess.
Israel actively and without secret, they profile their security forces too, and it works. So that's something to consider. We don't have to get into that now. Good discussion.
Yeah.
I think we can skip, you know, and any other experiences for the moment. But did you want to close on anything as far as racism is concerned?
Nah, man, I think we had a good, lively conversation about it. I mean, it's, you know, I just think, you know, I remember, you know, coming up as a young man, I used to think, like, you know, like when I was in my 20s, I used to think, like, well, yeah, you know, when I'm 40, you know, or so, you know, racism should be dwindled down, you know what I'm saying? Because all the old slave masters and their kids and, you know, they're gone now. So that mindset, it should be changing. But to see 21-year-olds doing stuff like they did,
You're talking about the mass shootings.
yeah, it just sours me, man. It makes me sad and disappointed. to think that my kids are gonna have to still grow up with that. You're still gonna have to experience that. It's like I would never thought, by now I thought we could have flying cars, but I guess, but still I thought by now it would be
Different.
weakened.
Yeah.
And to me, it's in the '70s. I don't remember stuff like this in the '70s.
Gotcha.
It
So
just
what's it going to take? Is it possible that things will change? As far as,
I'm really bleak. I'm gonna say no, man.
I hear you.
I think that it's here.
yeah. I think that as we, I've talked about globalization, and we'll talk about that again. As things become a little less, as borders begin to disappear, I think that we're going to see racism decline. Because right now, what we're talking about is more centralized or centered on the United States. United States, old policy, current policy, what have you, and the attitudes. But as we move a little bit more into the international arena, I think it'll be a little bit different. We will come across some different types of ills and whatnot, but I have hope.
Okay, I'm glad you do. That's good.
So again, give us your thoughts on racism, your experiences, what your definition is, and we'll try to reply to those as you give us comments. Moving forward, we're looking for a third co-host, if you will, preferably a lady, someone who does talking. There is no pay, but who knows what might happen in the future. So if you're that person and think that you can join us and put in a third eye, a third
Mindset.
That's the word I was looking for.
Third eye is good too.
Third eye would be awesome. Yeah, hit us up. Looking for a lady co-host. You can contact us at 2mindsets@gmail.com.
Hey, Ma, you're in Florida, so we won't be able to get it.
Preferably somebody that lives in the Atlanta area. Again, that's 2mindsets, the number 2mindsets@gmail.com. And hit us up, and maybe we can make that happen for you. So that's all I got for this week. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Next time, we're going to try to talk about men's health and how to keep it optimal. And maybe we'll have someone else with us to talk about it as well. We appreciate you joining us. I'm Dee Hill.
And I'm RJ.
And thanks for joining of Two Mindsets. We'll see you next time.